This was once the power base of the Minoan civilization, an advanced maritime race who controlled the wealth and trade of the Mediterranean. More formidable still were the stories of the island's infamous King Minos. In Greek mythology, he's said to have built a labyrinth to cage a monster. Half man, half bull, the Minotaur was the shocking result of a union between a sacred bull and the king's unfaithful wife. Legend recalls that the Minotaur thirsted for human blood. As ruler of the seas, King Minos is said to have forced the Greeks to send 7 young men and women to be sacrificed. And according to the legend, they were taken down into the labyrinth to be eaten alive. Today on the island, the remains of the Palace of Knossos can still be seen. Could this building once have housed the most terrible creations from the ancient Greeks' mythical past? Or did the structure of the palace inspire the story of the Minotaur? Built some 2,000 years before the Greek world flourished, the palace contained hundreds of luxurious rooms. But did horror lurk deep beneath the splendor? In 1900, an English archaeologist decided to find out. Sir Arthur Evans began to excavate what he believed could be the legendary palace. Evans soon discovered a stone seat. Could this be a throne, or perhaps proof that the king really existed? Evans sent a telegram to the King of Greece, inviting him to sit on what he believed was the oldest throne in Europe. As Evans dug, a magnificent palace began to emerge. Covering an area of 20,000 square yards, it revealed astonishing technical feats of the Bronze Age people Evans called the Minoans. From little more than foundations, Evans was able to reconstruct a part of the palace to create a glimpse of a lost culture.
One could say that the Minoans were truly remarkable in the building technologies. They invented certain techniques and methods that were a breakthrough at that time.
One innovation was a series of terraces dug into the hillside to create the palace's east wing, which stood 4 stories high. Another was the grand staircase running up inside the palace. It was supported by cedar wood pillars.
It's a masterpiece in many ways, because it's no easy thing to build a staircase going down 2 flights on a wooden frame.
The diameter of each column defines its maximum load. 3,500 years ago, the Minoans calculated how to make the strongest framework possible by placing these columns directly beneath one another. And they outstripped all other contemporary civilizations in their mastery of light, using light wells and windows on a scale never seen before. To control internal light and space, the ancient architects created a groundbreaking system of doors. The palace boasted an elaborate underfloor drainage system. This not only dealt with Crete's rainfall, it also carried away waste from one of the world's earliest toilets.
This is the famous toilet of the Minoan palace. Outside these doors, you see this large slab, and we have here a hole. So somebody, let's say a servant, was outside flushing water as the toilet was being used.
Leading to the palace were the very first cobbled roads in Europe, built over 1,000 years before the Romans. There were even sidewalks for pedestrians. It became clear that Knossos lay at the heart of a highly sophisticated civilization. So why did Sir Arthur Evans link it with the myth of the Minotaur in its labyrinth? He found a number of clues, including strange engravings in the shape of a double-headed axe. What was their secret meaning?
We have no idea what these were for, because some were meant to be seen, others were not meant to be seen. Some were covered with plaster, others are on the undersides of stones. But what does seem clear is that they had some kind of magical component.
An ancient word for this axe is labyrinth. Evans believed this palace could be the very origin of the word labyrinth. Another clue linking the palace to the myth is the layout itself. 1,500 interconnecting rooms, many below ground. A bewildering maze that would drive outsiders to panic. Rather than being the actual site of Minos' mythical labyrinth, built to imprison the Minotaur, could the maze-like palace in fact have given rise to the story? A possibility backed up by evidence that the bull, an ancient symbol of power, played a key role in Minoan life. Experts now think the Minotaur myth evolved when the powerful Cretans controlled the seas, demanding tributes from lesser states, such as Athens. According to legend, the Athenian hero Theseus volunteered to confront the monster. Armed with just a sword and string to mark his path through the labyrinth, Theseus the Athenian confronted the Minotaur, slaying the beast. The Athenians promoted this story. It made them look victorious. But in reality, Athens was at this time only a minor city when the powerful palace of Knossos flourished. And if King Minos had existed only in a legend, who was it who'd sat upon this throne?
The ancient legends, I think, very much colored Sir Arthur's view of Minoan culture. Today, we believe that actually a priestess may have sat here, because in other artistic media, we always see a woman, priestess or goddess, with griffins heraldically placed on either side of her.
Whether or not King Minos existed only in myth, the 3,500-year-old palace at Knossos still strikes awe in its visitors today. There is no doubt that this great palace could inspire storytellers, or that its architecture would inspire the Minoan successors, the ancient Greeks.